Engineers, welcome to the new video of the course, and in this particular video we are going to see the basics of semiconductor. So as you can see, I had mentioned few of the points, and we are going to discuss each and every point in separate video in detailed way. Okay, so starting with the very first point, that is foundation of electronics. Okay, so we are going to discuss this particular point. So for that, let me move further. So when I talk about conductors, so let me just write over here, when I talk about conductors, that means I'm mostly dealing with the electrical circuits. Okay, I'm mostly dealing with the electrical circuits. Okay, but when I talk about semiconductors, okay, when I talk about semiconductors, so that means I'm dealing with electronic circuit. I'm dealing with electronic circuits. Okay, electronic circuits. I know now most of the students, they will say that it sounds little similar. What is the difference between electrical and electronic? What is difference between electrical and electronic? Because this term, see, ELECT, although the next term changes, that is electrical and electronic, right? But this particular term, it looks somewhat similar, right? So what exactly is the difference between both of them? Okay, so I'll discuss it in such a way that even a layman can understand this particular concept. Okay, so when I talk about conductors, and I believe that you all guys have enrolled in my course one, and if not, at least you might have a basic idea about what a conductor is. Conductor is nothing but a device which can pass electricity and heat through it. That is, it can pass electrical energy and thermal energy through it. Okay, so how exactly it passes? It passes with the help of electrons. Okay, so whenever you will hear about conductors, so in conductors the energy is passed only because of electrons. Okay, so let me just write over here, when as far as electrical circuits are concerned, so energy, it can be any energy, it can be electricity, it can be thermal energy, it can be any energy. That energy, I mean, that particular concept is not is not a big concern for us. Okay, as far as this particular concept is concerned, that is electrical and electronic. So when it comes to electrical circuits, energy is passed only because of electrons. Only because of electrons. Okay, electrons. Okay, great. Now when I talk about semiconductors, so over here, when it comes to semiconductors, energy passes, that is thermal energy or electrical energy. So basically electricity is produced because of two phenomena, that is electrons and holes. Okay, electrons and holes. So let me just write over here, energy is passed because of electrons and holes. Okay, just make sure to note down this particular points, because as we move further and further, then this particular concept would be pretty clear to you all guys. I know this particular concept is, it's quite easy, right? Because you had already learned the topic of conductors and insulators from me, so you might easily relate this particular concept. But now semiconductor is little new topic to you all guys, so you all guys might find it little difficult to understand or to grasp this particular concept, that is what is electron. Okay, if I know electron, so what is holes? Is it a new concept? Is it an old concept, or it is presented in some different way? I'm not able to understand this. That's absolutely fine. As of now, you just note this particular point, that is in semiconductor the energy is passed because of two phenomena, that is migration of electrons and holes. Okay, whereas when it comes to conductors, the energy is passed only because of electrons. Okay, now let's further discuss this particular topic of electronic circuits. So when I talk about electronic circuit, let me just see if I can move it little down, this particular point. Yeah, somewhere over here. Alright, and let me just move it little above so that I may get enough space to discuss this particular topic. Okay, so when I talk about electronic circuit, so it is further divided into two, that is analog electronics and digital electronics. Okay, so analog electronics and digital digital electronics. Digital electronics. Okay, and that's why if you see in my previous video, I had clearly mentioned that we are dealing with conductors, then we are going with semiconductors, then we are learning the concepts of analog electronics, that is diode, transistors and all, then we are going to implement these same concepts in the digital electronics. Okay, so that's why if you look at made the course in the sequential manner, so that it would be pretty easier for the beginner to go in that particular direction, right? So when I talk about analog electronics, so that means I'm talking about this particular components, that is diodes, then BJTs, FETs, etc. Okay, and when I'm talking about digital electronics, then I'm talking about this particular components, that is logic gates, then multiplexer, demultiplexer, etc. So these are the components which comes under the flip-flops, etc. Right? So the lots of circuits. I had just taken 2 examples. Okay, so this kind of circuits comes under analog electronics, and this kind of circuits come, or this kind of components, sorry, not circuits. So this kind of components comes under analog electronics, and this kind of components comes under digital electronics. But if you look clearly, your digital electronics is derived from analog electronics. You cannot make gates without help of diodes or transistor. Okay, with the help of transistor you can easily make logic gates. With the help of logic gates you can make flip-flops, latches, etc. But the basic component is analog electronics for digital electronics, and for analog electronics the basic idea or the basic concept is semiconductor. Okay, great. I hope this particular concept is crystal clear, and that's why if you look over here, the foundation of electronics, no matter which electronics, either you are learning, either you are going in power electronics, maybe analog electronics, digital electronics, any electronic concept or any electronics field, the foundation for electronics is nothing but it is semiconductors. Okay, so this is what I discussed over here, and I believe that you all guys got a clear-cut idea about the semiconductors and how exactly it acts as a base or a foundation for analog, digital, or maybe any other electronic field, maybe power electronics. Okay, great. So what I'll do, I'll just end this video over here, and in the next video we will discuss the next point. Thank you for listening me patiently. I'm ending this video over here. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the communication section. Thank you.